All right, good morning. Welcome, everybody here. Thanks for coming in, and welcome those watching online. Let's go ahead and find our spots, and we'll get started in here.
All right, good morning. Let's all stand together. We're going to sing At Calvary, lifting up our voices to God. God for Calvary, and Lord, that our sins are forgiven, the debt is paid for, Lord, and it truly is a wonderful thing to just be set free from the bondage of our sin. Lord, as we meet this morning, we need you, and we always need you, and so we ask that your presence be here, Lord, and that your Spirit would move and speak and utilize this time for your glory. We love you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, you can be seated. We are continuing now our series on practical Bible truths, practical Bible things, and so each week we're just giving you something practical from the Bible. We've covered different things like investing and different things like that, biblical principles. And this week we're talking about the practical Bible teaching on how to get along with people. How to get along with people. Let's go ahead and go to Proverbs. A lot of the lesson will be in Proverbs because Proverbs has a lot of this wisdom. So I, by my nature, am not good at this one. This thing is, I've had to learn over a lot of years very diligently and work very hard at it and learn and watch people and learn how to get along with people, how to get people to like you. He that winneth souls is wise. It's good if you can have influence with people and people. If people don't like you, they don't let you influence them. There's a smidgen of 5% of people who are wise enough to learn from people they don't like. But that's the people who bow down their ear to wisdom. It's very rare. Most people, you have to win their heart before you can get influence on their mind and soul. And so people don't like you, then they're not going to listen to you. And I want to have influence. I want to be, and I want to have hearts of people, and I want to have influence on people. But my nature is not to be outgoing, certainly, and my nature is not to be friendly. And not that I don't like people or I'm a grump. It's just I've always been fine not talking to people. So I can go into a room or go into a place and everybody else is talking and doing stuff, and I'm like, oh, good, they're all occupied, and go sit down and not talk to anybody. And I'm very comfortable. I'm not like I don't like them or anything else. I'm just like, I can think, I can watch, I can do something else, but I just walking up to strangers and talking to everybody and being friendly is not my nature. And so the thing I learned over time is people think that is grumpy and they don't like them. And I've tried to explain to people, it's not that I don't like you. It's not that I'm grumpy. I'm just happy alone. I like me more than you. And so, but it's just the way it is. But I found out that I couldn't have influence that way. And people didn't like me, and people thought I was grumpy, or people thought I was upset or whatever. And so I had to learn to go, and all these principles. Of course, I grew up, my best friend, that they were always doing things together. Everybody loved him, and he wasn't a stranger to everybody. Pastor White, he'd walk in a room and just start talking, and everybody's talking to him, and everybody liked him and stuff like that. And in the end, they'd be like, "Who's your grumpy friend?" And so, but he would get all the influence, and he would do that. And I learned, he taught me, my wife has taught me over the years, and Proverbs, and just watching people. And of course, an introvert, when they watch people, they learn a lot. Generally, extroverts are in a room full of people, but they're so busy being an extrovert, they don't notice what's going on. Okay, and so a lot of times introverts kind of know, they kind of see what's going on a little bit more and can learn watching and things like that. And so, anyway, these principles I want to tell you, people all the time tell me, I didn't know you were an introvert. I didn't, you know what? I really like you, Pastor, and you better. But that's only because I've really worked on it. Okay, really worked and learned, because the Bible principles work, and they will help you in these things to get along with people. Sometimes I'll meet somebody. I generally get along with every personality type. I'm not sensitive, so the grumpy guy who grumbles all the time, I get along fine with the grumpy guy who grumbles all the time. I'll stand there and grumble with him. And the very emotional woman, I learned how to deal with emotional women. Thank God my wife's not a hyper emotional woman, but I generally have learned how to get along with most personality types. But then I watch them, and they're really a good person. I really like them, but I watch how, because they don't know how to adapt and change and get along with people, a lot of people don't like them. I'm like, they're really a good guy, but they don't know some things out of Proverbs. They don't know some things in the Bible of how to get along with people. And so you don't understand that that's actually a good person, but they come across as a bad person. And it's because they use bad methods in relationships and with their tongue, what they say and what they don't say and things. So I'm just going to give you the practical things the Bible gives us here. And I think this is even true within your own family, is there's methods here that'll make it so people are hard to get along with. Most of the time, not always, there are people you can never get along with. Okay? The people who can't get along with, there's just those people, and understand that you'll do everything you can. You'll use every biblical principle. You can't get along with everybody. Don't blame yourself. There's people like that. You won't be the only person who doesn't get along with them. Trust me. But generally, if you follow these principles, you will be blessed in your life and in your relationships, and be able to restore relationships even that you wouldn't be able to have if you didn't know how to get along with people. Number one, be friendly. That doesn't sound too complicated, right? But be friendly. Proverbs 18. That's very funny. I got the wrong verse written down, and bad start. He that hath a friend must show himself friendly. And there it is, verse 23. The poor use entreaties, but the rich answereth roughly. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. It's very funny. The poor use entreaties. They have to be nice because they don't, especially in ancient culture, they don't have the influence. But the rich answers roughly. I want to say this. Rich people, because they're used to getting their way and being able to get what they want with their money, tend to be grumpy and demanding people. And if you're rich, hypothetically, don't be cranky and think you're better than everybody. Okay? It's not a good, don't do that. Next verse, verse 24. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly. and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. You'll find, so you will find that if you are friendly, if you say hi to people, smile, just basic friendly stuff. You don't have to break out of even who you are, but just a basic small effort of good morning. You'll be surprised how the tune changes to people. All right, and how just the attitude changes. You got to be friendly. If you're not friendly, other people won't be friendly. If you want friends, if you're unfriendly, you're not going to have friends. People don't like grumps. People don't like people who aren't friendly. So you've got to do that. Now, this is something I had to work on because, again, that's not my personality. That's my personality is introverted and quiet and not being noticed. And so, but I found by God's grace, I can be outgoing and gregarious also. I have to be. If I walked in the pulpit and said, open your Bibles, turn to the verse, and just, that was it, walked out, never talked to anybody, a lot of people would say, I think that preacher's something wrong with him. I don't think I'm going to go to that church. I don't want him to influence me. I might be like him. So I've learned to be friendly and greet people. How's it going? What's your name? And just, you don't have to be, super personality person to say good morning. To be friendly. Do you know when you walk? I learned this. And you say, you learned that? I learned this. I walk by somebody without saying anything to them. They think you don't like them. I didn't know that. I'm from the Northwest. We don't talk to each other. We're in bubbles, right? And so I just walk by people all the time. I don't know them. I don't have any business with them. I'm going somewhere and doing something. I walk right by them. Apparently they'll be having me going, oh, what a grump. Well, you didn't say hi to me either. I found that out. I learned that. He that hath friends must show himself friendly. Now, tip dealing with me. I'm always on a mission. If we're just saying hi, let's just say hi, okay, because I'm doing something. If you have something serious to talk about, I'll take all day with you. But if you want to just talk about pastor, the other day I was walking down the road and I saw a butterfly. Look, I'm about to start the service and or whatever. But, you can be friendly still. Hey, how's it going? Good morning. Hey, great to see you. Be friendly. Be nice. It's awkward. Just strangers there, wherever you are. You go to a family reunion or you don't know that relative. You haven't seen them in 10 years. And somebody's got to break the ice, right? And some of you are great at that and you're gifted at that and you like doing it. And you think it's awkward if everybody's quiet. Look, you're the blessing that helps all of us, okay? And you be that because God made you that way. You'll make it easier on us who aren't good at it. But just be friendly. It really makes people like you better. It makes it so you get along better with people. It's a lot easier in life. Number 2, listen to people. Proverbs chapter 18. This one has become more and more important, and I'll tell you why in a moment here. Listen to people. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 13. He that answer a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. Okay, you need to hear the matter. And I'm gonna give you James 1:19. We'll do James 1:19 a couple times. It says that every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Swift to hear. Listening, your ears are open, like God's ears are open. I want to say, so really important. You are interested in what you're interested in. Okay, some people are interested in whether other people are interested in, but most people are by nature. This isn't a criticism. It's human nature. It's myself included. Most of us care a lot more about what we care about than what other people care about. That makes sense? If you don't like football and I start talking about football, you go, you know what? I don't like football. Okay? That's what people do. Okay? It's kind of our nature. I'm not interested in that subject, so let me talk. And we generally want to be the ones talking about what we're interested in, so we want to talk. Okay? It's very fun for me to watch when two people who love to talk get together, and the awkwardness of them trying to talk over each other because they both want to talk because they're not interested in the other person, they're interested in talking. And because most people, I don't understand this. Okay, again, this is my world. I walk around not understanding things, but understanding this is the way it works. Most people find great joy in talking about what they're interested in. They think it's fun. I don't know. It's like eating pizza. You know, they're talking, people listen. It's like, this is fun. They're listening, and I'm talking. I don't know the fun of that, okay, but it's fun to people, okay? Most people will like you a lot better if you'll listen to them. And I don't mind that at all. Because here's the gold thing. Actually, everything's interesting if you learn to listen. And the fun, I think half the interesting thing about people is how excited they are about something that's not interesting. Right? Sometimes I'll get somebody talking and it's easy if you're a good listener because people love talking. And the world has taught everybody to be so self-centered, it's all about them. And they start talking about whatever. And they're just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. And I'm listening, I'm going, they really think this is interesting. And so I'll start probing them. What's so interesting about, cats? What's so interesting about, satellites? Really? Now, some satellites are stationary, right? And some move with the world. Oh, yeah. And they're so excited about satellites. And they start talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. They'll walk away. I love that pastor. He's a great guy. Why? Because I have to listen to them talk about satellites. And I learned something about satellites, right? And so the next person I talk to about satellites is super interested in satellites. I'm going to talk about, Starlink, those things are going to start hitting everything. Oh, Starlink. They think I'm the greatest guy in the world because I love satellites. I don't love satellites, but I've listened to somebody. And I'm acting interested in satellites because it's going to make them like me because I listen to them. A lot of people are very lonely. That people used to respect elderly people and listen to them. They have a lot of stories. They want to tell about their life. And nowadays, everybody's so self-centered that the kid will just put on his earbuds and not talk to the old person and listen to their stories. They have nobody to talk to, right? People like to tell about their children. And it's interesting. And people like to talk about their friends or their growing up or their favorite sport or what do they do. And you say, but you know what? I don't want to hear about their stuff. You got to get out of yourself. That's the problem. They're into their self. You got to get to yourself because you got to listen to people. A lot of times, because you listen to them, you get their heart. You can influence them. Also, they feel better because they had nobody to tell. Most people don't listen because most people want to tell about themselves, right? That's just the way life works. Most people talk way too much. You need to not talk so much. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 28. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. It's good to be quiet and listen. Okay? People think you're smart when you listen. And they think, ooh, that person's, they're mysterious. They must know a lot. Because it's better to keep your mouth closed and have people think you're a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. And so you kind of hold your tongue a little bit, okay? And don't talk all the time. You don't have to talk all the time. Well, you know what? They're talking and they're talking. I haven't got to say anything. It's okay. It's not all about you. Look at every man on the things of himself. We'll read it later. But every man also on the things of others. Listen to people, swift to hear, and hear the whole matter. Listen to people, and look, you will find it. So the reason most people don't want to be able to talk is because they're so filled with self that they want to be the one to be talking. Once you remove that big self thing, you will find that people's interests and what they want to talk about is actually interesting. And a back and forth is a great thing. And eventually you can steer the conversation to what you want to talk about or something that's interesting to you, but you can learn to do that. It's good because it builds relationships. It restores relationships. It makes people like you. You get their heart when you care about them. People want to be listened to and heard and be cared about. And so don't talk all the time. Be a better listener. You don't need to say all of your opinions, hurts, and feelings. When you say don't talk too much, you don't need to say everything you think, everything you feel, okay? All of your emotions. It's actually not good to do that. Proverbs chapter 29. And verse 11, a fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it till afterward. A fool utters his mind. Well, I just need to tell them how I felt. Why? Because that's what I felt. Okay, but why did you need to tell them what you felt? Well, because they need to know. Why? Well, I need to give a piece of my mind. Well, you do that too many times, you have half a mind, right? You don't have any extra pieces to give away. Okay? Quit. You don't have to. I feel things all the time I don't tell anybody. How many of you think thoughts you should never say? Right? How many of something you just felt like you had to say this and then I said, I shouldn't have said that. Right? Yeah, it happens all the time. A wise man keeps till afterward. They say, should I say this? It says, swift to hear, slow to speak. I don't like this person. Okay, you don't have to tell them that. People change. If you think I like every single person who's ever come to the church, I can love them, but not everybody's my personality type, right? Sometimes people are caustic and irritating. Sometimes because they've been really hurt, and matter of fact, the only thing that's their self-defense mechanism. They're afraid to get close because everybody they got close to hurt them, and so now whenever somebody starts getting close to them, they lash out and start being nasty because they don't want to get close because they're not comfortable with that. They're afraid to get close. It's a self-defense mechanism. Somebody has to walk through that hurt and that nastiness that they're going to give you and be strong enough to take it and then get to them and earn their trust and then be able to reach them and let them trust again. But that storm, that hurricane you fly through before you get to the eye of the hurricane is not fun, right? But somebody has to be strong enough to do that because hurt people. That's what they do. So somebody has to have great peace with they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. And I don't need to say, hey, you're a jerk. You know that? I don't need to say that. I might think they are, and they might be. But I don't have to. A fool utters all of his mind. Boring. I don't need to say that if somebody's talking about something boring. Right? That's hurtful. You don't need to do that. Now, I genuinely, one of the things that helps me a lot is I genuinely am super interested in culture. And so when I meet someone from another country, I'm super interested in their culture. What country they're from, what part of the country, what language they speak, what do they eat? It's what I'm wired to do is the mission stuff. And so, boy, when I'm interested in their country, and I say, I ask them what country they're from, and they say, I'm from Kenya. I say, oh, what part of Kenya? Oh, I'm from Nairobi. Okay, good. And so I say, so you speak Swahili and English? Oh, yeah. So how do you know that? I know different countries. I know about Kenya. And do you have a dialect? Oh, yeah, I speak da 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 da. And I can never say their dialect names. And I say, oh, is that because your family is from the oh yeah, our family. We have property way out, and they're just somebody's interested in them back home. Right? Just, I don't have to talk the whole time. Right? I don't have to be the one who talks the whole time. You don't have to express all your feelings. You don't have to tell people you don't like them. You don't have to tell them that you're having a bad day. Well, if I'm going to have a bad day, everybody needs, no, why do they need to know about it? But some people says, if I'm in misery, I must bring everybody to my miserable place. I like company, and I want you to be with me there. Why? You don't like it there. Why do you want to bring somebody else there? You got to quit thinking about yourself all the time. All right? And you gotta listen to people. Number 3, goodness, we got 10 points. I'm on 3, and we're in trouble. Get rid of your pride. Proverbs chapter 13. Get rid of your pride. Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 10. Only by pride cometh contention. You want to get along with people? Get rid of your pride. But with the well-advised is wisdom. Well, they told a story, but you know what? They act like they're better than me. Your insecurity is making you think it's a one-up thing. They told you about how much money they made. Well, I made this much one year. Stop with your pride. Stop that. Well, their kid's not cute. They think their kid's the cutest kid in the world. My kid's cute. I'm going to tell them how cute my kid is. Let them think their kid's the cutest in the world. But it's not true. So what? Unless you're me, your kid's not the cutest kid in the world. Right? That's okay. Their kid might be ugly, right? You don't need to tell them that. You don't need to tell them that. You don't need to. They're going to go, oh, look at him, isn't he cute? Look at him, he's drooling. You're going, it's not cute. No, you don't need to do that. My kid's cuter than that. My kid started walking at 7 months. Well, my kid started walking at 6.5 months. Get rid of all your pride. You know what? If somebody thinks they're better than you, you don't need to make fun of them. You don't need to get rid of a lot of pride. Only by pride comes contention. If somebody is nasty, and let's take the person who's hurt, and they go and they lash out at you and say, who do you think you are coming up and talking to me? You get in the flesh and you want to get your pride out. Someone insults you. Someone calls you a name. You feel like you have to defend yourself because it's not true. Somebody could say something about you that's not true. And if you don't have a pride problem, you can shrug your shoulders because you're secure in Christ. You know it's not true. I look like I'm speaking French Swahili here. So I was talking. I'll tell you a story, and he's not going to listen to this. So I can tell a story. So I'm talking to the premier missionary in the world. I'm talking to Rick Martin. Praise God, this guy takes time to talk to me, and I'm learning from him, talking to him, and he's so excited about his graduates from his Bible college and all they're doing in the world, and he's talking to me. And he's telling me, he says, you know what? He says, what? This is amazing. Check this out. He says, I have a missionary in Haiti, and he is sending a guy to Senegal, Africa, as a missionary. Can you believe that? That is so awesome. I said, that is amazing. You know, we're the ones who instigated the whole thing, right? He doesn't know any of that. I let him sit there, be excited like a little kid. I never told him I had anything to do with it. I said, that's awesome. That's like Haiti's poor, isn't it? And he says, oh, Haiti's the poorest country in the world, and they're going to get a missionary. He doesn't even know how the missionary's going to get there. We're doing it, right? But I didn't tell him anything. Why? Because it's pride. He's excited. And the only thing it'd make me have to tell him is like, hey, I've been to Haiti way more times than you. I preach a pastor's conference. I'm the one who, me? I've been working this thing for 2 years. No, it's not about me. You got to remove your pride. And then other people can do great. Other people can be excited. Other people can think, whatever, it's not about you. Right? A lot of times when we start a ministry, we set the guy up for success. Financially, with workers helping him, with the building, with our know-how, we've done it so many times. We set him up, and that guy has a great start, and boy, he comes to me all rejoicing in how great he's doing. And he's feeling like, man, God's using me, and God is using them. I don't need to say, hey, buddy, the only reason you're doing so well. But pride lifts itself up and says, you know what, everybody's paying attention to them. I'm going to kind of shove myself. My brother is always talking about this. I can't stand it. Let him talk about it. If you get rid of your pride, you don't have to fight. Yeah. A lot of times somebody will, I find someone who's got to talk about themselves or one up or say they know more than me and all that. And okay, if you think you're better than me, that's fine. I don't care. It's fine. I don't need to have contention over that, right? You don't have to do that. I find actually a big advantage that people thinking less of me, I actually find to be a great advantage. It just helps me in a lot of things. A lot of times people think I'm naive because I don't strut about a lot of things. I don't go tell people. So they think I don't know about something. And they'll think, Pastor doesn't understand that person, what they're doing. Actually, me not, because pride says, I'm going to let them know I know what they're doing. I find it to be advantageous to know what they're doing without them knowing I know what they're doing. Right? I'll have people come to me and say, Pastor, that person there, they're not being honest. They're not really going to. And I'm like, I knew that a long time ago. Well, why don't you confront them and tell them, you're not dumb. I don't care if they think I'm dumb. See, manipulative people, if they think you're dumb, they put their guard down and they lie worse. They don't use their best tricks on you. I'm actually the manipulator here. And people come to me and say, Pastor, did you know so-and-so? They're like this. Why do you think that? I'm going to try to learn from that person. Now, they think I don't know that person's like this. So I want to learn how they see that, why they saw it. Because I saw it, but I have a reason I saw it, but they saw it. Why'd you think that? Why'd you notice that? And because I used to do this, and I used to be an addict, and so I did these things, and da. And what else? So what do you do? Well, how do you know who to help? I'm pulling knowledge from them. Now, I might know all they're going to tell me, but them thinking I'm naive is going to make them teach me more. Because equals, you tend to not tell them very much. You skip over a whole bunch of points. It's a guy on YouTube who says, all right, if you want to change this on your car, first pull the engine, and then number 2, and you're going, pull the engine? How do you pull the engine? Well, they're so used to pulling engines, it's nothing for them, right? And so people who think you know what they know don't tell you a lot. So when people think I'm naive, and if I don't have pride, people tell me and teach me things all the time, and I'm pulling knowledge out of them because I'm bowing down my ear to wisdom, even though I might already know what they know partially. Why? Because I don't want my pride to get in my way, right? And so that pride causes a lot of contention. I just told you way too many tricks that I do, and now you're not going to go and teach me things. But Pastor is smarter than you think he is, but I just find that pride. See, you think people are actually most people think are really smart are proud people who've told everything they know. The wise man hides it till afterward. The really smart people don't tell you everything they know. So you don't think they're as smart because they haven't told you everything they know. It's the quiet ones you have to watch out for, right? That's you don't know that. It is. It's not the guy who says how tough he is and struts around that you have to worry about. It's the guy who doesn't have to tell you how tough he is. That's the tough guy. And that's true with knowledge, right? That's why I don't tell you how tough I am. And so number 4, learn to praise. Proverbs 27. I am so far behind. Proverbs 27. I'm just telling you how to get along with people. Get rid of your pride. Don't have to be the one to show everybody everything. Listen to other people. Serve people. Proverbs 27. And verse 21. As a firing pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. People love being praised, and it melts their heart. I praised 4 people this morning that did what I was hoping they would do. I didn't criticize people for not doing what I wanted them to do. Just so you know, there's a smidgen of people who will do better when you criticize them. But there's a whole lot of people who do better when you praise them for the good they do, and they'll stop doing the disappointing things because they want to earn your praise. But most people by nature, and especially leaders, their nature is I expect them to just do what they're supposed to do. And when they don't do that, I'm going to criticize them. So really all that they can do is earn what they're supposed to do, which is not going to earn any praise from you. So they're not going to try very hard because there's very low reward. The reward is just not to be criticized. Does that make sense? Where the person who's going to praise them, okay, when they do what they're supposed to do, what they want to do is say, well, I'm going to do even better. Okay? It melts people's hearts, And so, when the person who hasn't been to church in a long time comes to church, I'm not going to say, where you been? We've missed you. It's been you haven't been here to do things. And man, this is do you think they're going to want to come back again next week? Or the next time they're away for a while? But I walk up and say, hey, I'm so glad you're here, man. Thanks for coming today. It's great to have you. They're like, I want to come back next week. I thought they'd be all critical of me. People, it says, as a firing pot for silver, as a furnace for gold, so is a man of their praise. You will find if there's this person, if here's a level of what they're supposed to do, and they're hitting, 30% below that, if you praise them for the 70%, you'll find the 30% gets up to there, and the 70% goes a notch higher. Because people want to be praised. They want to be appreciated. Okay? Most people, if their boss would just say, great job, they would take that as a raise. Because people, and so learn to praise people. Learn to say, hey, you look great today. Good job. And especially praise people's character. You worked hard on that. Man, you really have really are a blessing. You did that all on your own. You're unselfish in that. You didn't have to do that. Man, that was great. Learn to praise people and not flatter them. Don't lie about your praise and don't do it to get something. But it's good for relationships to praise people. Critical people who only criticize, they are despised, and people just give up trying to please you. And so learn to praise. It's important you do that. God did it. Numbers chapter 12, verse 3, he praises Moses. Job chapter 1, verse 8, he praises Job. Jesus praised the poor widow who gave out of her poverty, and the centurion with his great faith. Paul praised Aquila and Priscilla for their addicted themselves to ministry in 1 Corinthians 16:15. He praised Timothy as a man who understands Paul and will care for the people naturally. Epaphroditus for giving himself to the ministry and doing those things. Romans 15 is full of praising. Praising is a good biblical thing for you to get along with people. Thank them. Notice their good they do. Don't be over the top. A flatterer is a bad thing. You're the best. Oh, you're incredible. That's not it. It's specific. It's to their virtues, and it's not to get anything. And so be careful to praise. It's important you do that. Be careful about your tone. Proverbs 15. I think we're going to do this for 2 weeks, this lesson, which I didn't think so at all. But you've been such amazing listeners. And Proverbs chapter 15. And verse 1, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Proverbs 15:1. They're really working the police with de-escalation, which I think is a good thing. You know what the main thing in de-escalation training is? Tone. Give me your driver's license. Get out of the car. That the tone makes all the difference, right? It's not just what you say that matters. I can say the same word and make all the difference in the world. Hello. Hello. Same word, right? Different tone. How about this? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Same words. Right? Your tone makes all the difference in the world. Your tone makes all the difference. The same words in a soft answer turns away wrath. Grievous words stir up anger. Your tone matters a lot. You have to work on this a lot. I've had to work on this a ton. Let's look at chapter 31. Again, I'm not good at this. Chapter 31 and verse 26, the virtuous woman, she openeth her mouth in wisdom, and her tongue is a law of kindness. Your tone matters a whole bunch. Again, with how I learned this, is my my nature, and you probably all know this because it's my nature. I can't change my nature, but I can work on it, on how it comes out. Is my nature is very blunt and to the point, and very direct and very focused, and so I didn't, you know, to me, as just a person who just wants to get things done and I don't understand all the offense and emotions and everybody and how you come across. For me to walk up and say, "Give me that. You have it. I need it." To me, to say, "Give me that," is just the shortest way to a point to get that from you. But "give me that" is rude, I guess. Right? Even though it's my tool you're holding and you're holding it for me, and I should just be able to say, "Give me that." I need to say, "Can you please hand me the socket?" Right? Now, it's not that much effort. I'm not the proud person who says, "You know what? Why do I have to do that? That's their problem if they get offended." It's not that hard. "Can you please hand me the socket?" And then when they give me the wrong socket, I throw it at them. But you know, you can go and use the right tone in things. It makes a big difference, right? I could preach a sermon and you think I love you. I'm speaking the truth in love. And even though it's stepping on your toes and it's preaching on your sin, your thought that he is saying it kindly and loves me will make you receive it 10 times more than if I get up there and say, "Let me tell you, stinking heathen," and get in your face. Now, there's a few who will respond to that. Okay? And I have people say, "Pastor, you got to rip their faces off." And okay, that's fine, but I don't have to be offensive. I don't have to stir up anger. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. Once I've offended them, there's very few people that are wise enough and hungry enough for truth that'll not like somebody and be offended at them and think they're rude and still say, "But what are they saying? Is it true?" There's very few people like that, especially in America. Americans are really sensitive people. If they don't like you, it doesn't matter if you're telling them how to turn rocks into gold. I don't care I don't care if you turn rocks into gold. I don't like you, okay? Just so you know, if you know how to turn rocks into gold, even if I don't like you, I'll listen to you. Right? And so, but most people don't. Most people are too sensitive. And Americans are really sensitive, and you really be careful with tone. And it's a good way to do that. Now, don't change the message. Never compromise. But you can be nice, right? You don't have to be rude. I can walk up the door, knock on the door, they open the door and say, "You're going to hell, and you need to get saved." Oh, okay, but they're probably going to slam the door on me before I can get the gospel to them, right? And so you don't do that. Next, last one. Yeah, we got time. Remove gossips from your life. Let's go to Proverbs 26. Remove gossips from your life. Proverbs 26. We're just talking about how to get along with people and the biblical, the practical ways. Proverbs 26 and verse 20. "Where no wood is, there the fire goeth out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceaseth." Look, people who are wicked, it says that who talk with their tongue all the time, who are gossips, it says they separate chiefest friends. Closest friends can be separated by that. I used to have a friend. I don't know why he's a friend. He wasn't a close friend. He's just a guy I knew in high school. And he was just a weird guy. He loved to watch fights. And so, and back then people used to physically fight, not, online, Twitter battles. And this guy would go to one guy and say, "So-and-so, man, he is bad. He's probably the toughest guy in school." The guy's like, "I can take him." He goes, "The guy, hey, he says he can take you." He'd go back and forth until he had a time and a setup for them to fight. And then, on lunch, they'd meet behind the gym and fight for no reason except for this guy would just go back and forth. And he thinks he's tougher than you. He thinks he's tougher than you. There's people who just cause strife. They go back and forth. They're talebearers. And it says when there's no wood, you can't have a fire. So when there's no talebearer, that's a word for gossip in the Bible. When there's no talebearer, strife ceases. There's nobody spreading it. You got to avoid the people who are gossips and cause problems and tell everybody everybody's business. Proverbs, let's go Proverbs chapter 16. And verse 28 says this. It says, a forward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separateth chief friends. It's pretty bad, right? It's not good. You got to be careful about those. Let's do 17, verse 9, just one more. He that cover the transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. You see, the Bible teaches that people who talk cause strife and problems. Man, we are such a good church. We are so good at this, at not gossiping about. People have all kinds of backgrounds and histories and troubles in our church, and the church in our region with all the things we have, and most people in our church talk to some people that are their friends that pray for them, and not in a bad way, saying, hey, I'm struggling with this, or they tell me what's going on, or we know what's going on, and then it stops right there. And they're safe, and somebody's praying for them. They have some accountability, and it's all good. Every once in a blue moon, we get a gossip in the church, and I immediately know it. I don't even, because I am not, the gossips don't come to me, and so I'm like a dead end, and I'm not interested in them. And so they can't get any information out of me. The worst thing about me is I don't give any information. So, but I'll know because people start having strife. And I'm like, we got to gossip somewhere in the church. Who is it? And I will go to that person. I'll say, look, we love you. We don't gossip at this church. You're going to stop it. Here's the Bible verses on gossip. You're not going to gossip at our church. You'll either not gossip because you choose not to do it, which is the best thing because it's sin against God, or you're going to leave our church because we won't have gossips in our church. And inevitably they leave, almost always. Sometimes they'll learn not to gossip. But why? I would rather lose people than have a gossip in the church. They just cause so many problems and hurts and disasters and drama. And I hate drama. And so because they cause strife. And so we don't allow it. It's just not allowed. We have, a little plot over there. The dirt's real soft, and sometimes you just never see the person again. And but we just don't allow it, right? The gossip's going to say, hey, they kill people. There's somewhere they buried bodies. Yeah, and you're next. And but we don't allow it because why? It's horrible. And by the way, what a stupid thing to do, walk around and just talk about people's faults and failures and hurts and worst times. What a terrible thing to do with your life. And people deserve some privacy and to rebuild their lives and not to have people talking about them and looking at them and stuff. Just if you want to get rid of that, you've got to avoid a certain type of person in your life, and you got to get rid of the gossips. All right, we got to finish up. We're done with time. We're going to talk about this morning. So hang around. We're going to talk about the danger of AI this morning. And so hope you'll hang around for that. Let's go ahead and pray. Father, thank you for the chance to teach your word. Lord, you had us spend a little more time on some points here, Lord. So I pray that it'd help us to get along with people, be kind, to